What are your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations? How are you supporting yourself?
My boyfriend.
If you drug tested today, what are the results going to be? And you just seen
Marijuana.
somebody else has been tested. Marijuana, anything else?
No, ma'am.
You're positive for cocaine as well. So how often are you using? You are not, that's either yes or no. Are you and your boyfriend using the same supplier? Where is the boyfriend? Has he already left?
This case transitions from concerning to deeply unsettling in a remarkably short span of time. A 19-year-old defendant appears before the court facing a serious charge, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. From the very beginning, however, it is not just the charge that draws attention, but her overall demeanor. There is an immediate sense that something is not quite right. As the hearing begins, her behavior raises noticeable concerns. She appears disconnected, possibly impaired, in a setting where clarity and composure are critical. One particularly striking detail is her lack of natural physical response, most notably, an almost complete absence of blinking. It is not a fleeting observation, but rather a persistent and highly unusual pattern that becomes more pronounced as the proceedings continue. Compounding this impression is her youthful appearance, which contrasts sharply with the seriousness of the charges she faces. The combination of these elements creates an atmosphere that feels off balance from the outset. It prompts an important question for anyone watching. How should this behavior be interpreted? With that in mind, let's take a closer look at how the situation unfolds.
Do you understand you're charged with the offense of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon? That's a second-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes.
Did you understand that the court would grant your application for deferred adjudication? If for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine.
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea, there's a $1,500 fine, affirmative finding of a deadly weapon. There's to be restitution, if any, to Jose Casares, Miguel Rosas, Ashley Almeida. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargaining agreement. State is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 10 years. There'll be a TAP evaluation, 250 hours of community service restitution, no contact with Jose Casares, Miguel Rosas, and Ashley Almeida. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence to support the defendant's no contest plea?
State offers State's Exhibit 1 and all attachments.
And we have no objection, Your Honor.
All right, you may be excused. Court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you apply for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Judge, if you'll consider it, the state saw fit to recommend supervision.
All right, anything you want to say on behalf? I'm sorry, anything you wish to say? Ms. Sanchez?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. If you drug tested today, what are the results going to be? And you've just seen
Marijuana.
somebody else has been tested. Marijuana, anything else?
No, ma'am.
All right, why are you using marijuana?
Just to use it.
All right, so that's going to stop. You understand? Because you're going to be on deferred adjudication here. And marijuana is not legal in Texas and it's not legal while you're on probation. Are you employed?
No, Your Honor.
So how are you supporting yourself?
My boyfriend.
All right, do you have any children?
No.
Where are your parents?
They're outside.
Okay, how old are you?
19.
And when you say they're outside in the hallway?
Mm-hmm.
Do they know what's going on with this case?
I don't know.
So they just showed up and you tell them to wait outside?
They just showed up. I don't have a good relationship with them.
Okay, why not?
We just don't get along.
Why? The reason why I'm asking these questions is because I'm trying to give you conditions of probation. Like if there's something in your past that happened between you and your parents, then maybe you may need help with that to address that issue. But if it's a question of they don't like your boyfriend and you don't want to abide by their rules and they say, well, you can't stay here, then that's something completely different. So what are your issues with them?
My father mistreats me.
Okay. All right, there's going to be proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. How far did you go in school?
I graduated high school.
So what are you planning on doing with the rest of your life?
Getting a job.
But I mean, what do you want to do? Like, what are your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations?
Performing arts, like theater.
Okay. So what are you doing to try to get yourself in theater?
I can always go back to school. I have money saved up to attend college whenever I feel like it.
At this stage, the focus naturally shifts toward a closer examination of the defendant's conduct. While it is always important to avoid making definitive assumptions, particularly regarding whether someone may be under the influence, her behavior throughout the hearing raises valid and difficult questions. Across the visible portions of the proceedings, she displays an unusual consistency in her physical presentation. The absence of blinking, in particular, stands out as something highly irregular under normal conditions. While there are alternative explanations, such as fatigue, heightened stress, or even certain medical conditions, the persistence of this behavior makes it difficult to dismiss outright. Beyond physical cues, her verbal responses further complicate the situation. When asked about her future plans and aspirations, her answers lack structure and specificity. Rather than presenting a clear or realistic path forward, her statements feel vague, almost rehearsed, as though they are tailored to meet perceived expectations rather than reflect genuine intent. This disconnect between what is being said and how it is being conveyed does not go unnoticed. Observing the judge's reactions, subtle shifts in expression and posture suggest a growing sense of skepticism. While no explicit judgment is voiced at this stage, the nonverbal cues indicate that her credibility may already be under scrutiny. What makes this particularly significant is the context in which it is happening. The defendant is facing the possibility of a sentence that could extend up to 10 years. In such circumstances, one would typically expect a heightened level of seriousness, awareness, and engagement. Instead, her presentation appears detached, raising concerns about judgment and accountability. This contrast between the gravity of the situation and her apparent demeanor invites deeper reflection. Is this behavior simply unusual, or does it point to something more concerning beneath the surface?
I mean, here's the thing. If you don't work towards your hopes and dreams, they're not going to happen. I mean, you may be walking down the street one day and somebody may come up to you and say, wow, that looks like somebody who should be in arts. But usually it doesn't happen. I will tell you, a lot of the older actors from what they call old Hollywood, they would work at a theater and then they ended up becoming actors and actresses. Lauren Bacall worked at a theater as a cigarette girl. They don't have those anymore. All right. 10 years deferred adjudication, affirmative finding of deadly weapon, proof of employment within 30 days, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors, restitution and no contact, and that's restitution if any. If she attends college or goes to some kind of trade school where she's trying to make her dreams come true, then the court will consider waiving those community service hours. So whether you want to just be doing busy work, although community services, you learn something whenever you do it. But if you want to do something to better yourself, then I'm giving you that opportunity. All right, anything else you need from the court?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. This could have went south so quickly, and you could be looking at maybe doing prison time. So you need to think before you act. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you. Just remain in court, and probation are going to go over conditions with you.
Thank you.
All right, and probation, can we get a drug test on her to see where she is? Yeah, not so much for levels, but just a drug test in general. Yes. Hi. Hi. So one, I didn't notice your clothes. You dressed inappropriately for court. Number two, you're positive for cocaine as well. So how often are you using?
I don't use any other drug besides marijuana in
So,
my life.
so who gave you the marijuana?
I bought it from
A
a
friend?
friend of a friend.
All right. Well, your friend of a friend, if you're not using coke, then they're putting something extra in your marijuana. And that's why I always tell people, when you're using drugs, there's no label on the outside, with inspected by telling you what you're using.
Mhm.
You are not, that's either yes or no. You're not allowed to be using drugs while you're on probation. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And so are you and your boyfriend using the same supplier?
No.
All right. So have a seat. And Where is the boyfriend? Has he already left?
Yes.
He's already left? All right, he's probably waiting for her outside because her parents are here. She doesn't have any other ride. All right, just have a seat.
To fully understand the weight of this situation, it is important to consider the broader legal framework surrounding aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, particularly in jurisdictions such as Texas. This is a charge that carries significant consequences, often including the potential for lengthy incarceration. However, outcomes in such cases are not always straightforward. In many instances, courts may opt for probation rather than immediate imprisonment, sometimes extending supervision for several years. Even when probation conditions are violated, there can be multiple opportunities granted for compliance before more severe penalties are enforced. This flexibility within the system reflects an effort to balance punishment with rehabilitation. Yet, it also introduces important questions about consistency and accountability. When leniency is extended, it is often with the expectation that the defendant will demonstrate responsibility and respect for the legal process. That is what makes this case particularly striking. The defendant's apparent lack of engagement or possible impairment during such a critical moment stands in stark contrast to the seriousness of the charges she faces. Courtroom behavior is not a trivial matter. It can significantly influence how a defendant is perceived. Demonstrating awareness, respect, and genuine intent can work in one's favor. On the other hand, behavior that suggests indifference or disregard may lead to less favorable outcomes. From a judicial standpoint, these impressions matter. Judges are tasked not only with evaluating the facts of a case, but also with assessing the character and credibility of those involved. In this context, the defendant's presentation may carry weight beyond her words alone. Ultimately, this case raises broader and more complex questions. How should the justice system respond when a defendant's behavior appears inconsistent with the seriousness of their situation? Where should the line be drawn between offering second chances and enforcing accountability? And to what extent should courtroom conduct influence legal outcomes? These are not simple questions, and they do not have easy answers. But they are essential considerations in understanding the full scope of cases like this. As always, your perspective on these issues matters. Thank you for taking the time to reflect on the complexities surrounding this case.